I grew up believing that my mother hated the taste of food. That sounds like a strange thing to believe, I know. Who hates food? Who hates warm bread or melting cheese or the smell of roasting chicken? But for 18 years, I watched my mother pick at her plate like it was filled with poison. I watched her push food around with her fork. I watched her claim she had a headache or a stomach ache or that she had eaten a big lunch at work. I watched her burn the toast on purpose and say she preferred it that way. I sat across from her at our small, wobbly kitchen table, devouring heaping plates of spaghetti, huge slices of pizza, and bowls of ice cream, while she sat there with a cup of tea and a single cracker. I judged her for it. I thought she was vain. I thought she was obsessed with her weight. I thought she was judging me for my appetite. I would look at her thin frame, her sharp cheekbones, and I would feel a flash of anger. I thought, why can't you just be normal? Why can't you just enjoy a meal with your son? Why do you have to make everything so awkward? I called her the bird. It was a cruel nickname. I said she ate like a bird. I made fun of her tiny portions. 2 months ago, my mother collapsed in our kitchen. By the time the ambulance got there, her heart had stopped. The autopsy report said she died of cardiac arrest brought on by severe chronic malnutrition. My mother didn't have an eating disorder. She didn't hate food. She was hungry. She was hungry for 20 years. And she starved herself slowly, painfully, day by day, so that I would never have to know the feeling of an empty stomach. If you have ever complained about what your mother cooked for dinner, or if you have ever taken a full fridge for granted, you need to listen to this story. Please hit that subscribe button right now. I am going to tell you the truth about the empty plate, and it might just change the way you look at the person who feeds you. To understand the lie, you have to go back to my childhood. My father left before I could walk. It was just me and mom in a city that was getting more expensive by the day. My mother worked as a receptionist. I thought that meant we were middle class. I didn't know that receptionist meant minimum wage. I didn't know that after rent, electricity, and the car payment, there was almost nothing left. But I never felt it, and that was her magic trick. I remember one night specifically. I was 8 years old. It was a Friday. Friday was pizza night. I loved pizza night. My mother would bring home a large pepperoni pizza from the good Italian place down the street. The smell would fill the apartment. I would sit at the table, my legs swinging, ready to feast. She would open the box, the steam would rise up, my mouth would water. I would take 2 slices, big, greasy, cheesy slices. Then I would look at her. "Aren't you eating, Mom?" She would smile, that tight, bright smile that I now realize was a mask for pain. "Oh, honey, I had a huge late lunch at the office. Mr. Henderson ordered catering. I am stuffed. I couldn't eat another bite. You go ahead. You are a growing boy. You need it." I believed her. Why would she lie? So I ate. I ate 3 slices, maybe 4. I didn't know that there was no catering at the office. I didn't know that her lunch had been a granola bar she found in the bottom of her purse. I didn't know that she was sitting there, smelling the pepperoni, her stomach cramping with hunger, watching her son eat the food she couldn't afford to replace. She watched me eat with love, even while her own body was screaming for fuel. As I got older, the lies got more creative. When I was 12, I went through a growth spurt. I was always hungry. I would come home from school and raid the fridge. "Mom, can we get steak?" I asked one day. Tommy's mom makes steak. Steak was expensive. We barely had money for ground beef. But 2 days later, there was a steak on the table, a beautiful ribeye. She cooked it perfectly. She set it in front of me. "Where is yours?" I asked. She wrinkled her nose. I don't know what is wrong with me, Leo. The smell of red meat is just making me nauseous today. I think I might be developing an allergy. I'll just have some toast. You eat it, don't let it go to waste." An allergy. She invented an allergy to the most expensive food items, just so I wouldn't feel guilty about eating them alone. She became allergic to shrimp. She became allergic to chocolate. She became allergic to anything that cost more than $5 a pound. I, being a stupid, self-absorbed teenager, just accepted it. I thought, wow, mom is weird, more for me. I ate the steak, I ate the shrimp, I ate the chocolate. And she ate toast. She ate the heels of the bread loaf that I refused to touch. She ate the bruised apples I left in the fruit bowl. She ate the leftovers from my plate after I left the table, scraping the cold, mashed potatoes into her mouth while standing over the sink so I wouldn't see. But the most painful memory, the one that wakes me up at night sweating, is the burnt toast incident. I was 15, I was moody, I was ungrateful. My mother was making breakfast. We had exactly 2 eggs and 2 pieces of bread left in the house until payday, which was 3 days away. I didn't know this, I just knew I was hungry. She cooked the eggs, she put them both on my plate. Then she put the bread in the toaster. I watched her, she stood by the toaster, and she didn't pop it when it was done. She pushed the lever down again and again. Smoke started to come out. "Moms, you are burning it," I yelled. She ignored me, she let it turn black, she let it turn into charcoal. Then she popped it. She took the 2 black hard squares of toast and put them on her plate. "Why did you do that?" I asked, disgusted. She smiled. "I love it this way, Leo. The crunch, the charcoal flavor. It is good for digestion, it is my favorite." She sat down and she ate the burnt toast. She crunched through the bitterness. She drank a glass of water to wash it down. I ate the eggs. I realize now what she did. She burned the toast on purpose. She knew that if the toast was golden and brown and delicious, I would want it, I would ask for it. And she would have to say no, or she would have to give it to me and go completely without food for 3 days. So she ruined it, she made it ineatable to me so that she could eat it without guilt, so that I wouldn't ask to share. She destroyed her own food to save me from my own greed. She protected me from the knowledge of our poverty by making herself look like a person with terrible taste. She let me think she was crazy so I wouldn't know we were broke. I went to college, she sent me money every month for a meal plan. "Make sure you eat vegetables, Leo," she would say on the phone. "Make sure you get dessert." I didn't know that to send me that $200 a month, she had stopped buying groceries almost entirely. She was living on tea. She was living on the free crackers they gave out at the diner where she picked up a second job. When I came home for Thanksgiving during my sophomore year, I noticed she looked thin. "Mom, have you lost weight?" I asked. She spun around in her new dress, a dress she bought at a thrift store. "It is the new diet, honey, intermittent fasting. It is all the rage. I feel great, so much energy." And she lied. She wasn't fasting, she was starving. But she looked so happy to see me. She had cooked a turkey, she had made stuffing, she had made a pumpkin pie. The table was groaning with food. I sat down and stuffed my face. I talked about my classes, I talked about my girlfriend. I didn't notice that her plate was empty. I didn't notice that she spent the whole meal serving me, refilling my glass, getting me more gravy, and never taking a bite herself. "Oh, I tasted it while I was cooking," she said. "I am so full from tasting." The lie of fullness, that was her greatest weapon. She was always full, she was always stuffed, she was always bloated. She was never hungry. When she collapsed, I was at work. I got the call. I rushed to the hospital. The doctor met me in the hallway. He looked angry. He said, "Son, how long has your mother been refusing to eat?" I was confused. "What she eats, she is just on a diet." The doctor shook his head. "She has the bone density of an 80-year-old. Her organs are shutting down from lack of protein. She has severe scurvy. We usually only see this in famine victims." I walked into her room. She was hooked up to machines. She looked so small, so fragile. She opened her eyes. She saw me. And the first thing she said, the very first thing she whispered through her dry, cracked lips, was, "Leo, did you eat lunch?" I broke down. I fell onto her bed and I sobbed. Mom, why? I asked. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you let me eat everything? She stroked my hair with her thin, trembling hand. Because you are my boy, she whispered, and a mother feeds her boy. She died 2 days later. Her heart just couldn't keep beating. It had no fuel left. I went back to the apartment to clean it out. I opened the fridge. It was empty. There was a half-empty bottle of mustard, a jar of pickles, and a pitcher of water. That was it. I opened the cupboards. Empty. I opened the pantry. Empty. There was no secret stash, there was no food. She had been living in a house with absolutely no food, while sending me money every week to make sure I was eating steak and sushi in the city. I sat on the kitchen floor and I looked at the stove where she used to cook my meals. I thought about the burnt toast. I thought about the allergy to steak. I thought about the catering at the office. I realized that every single meal I ever ate in this house was a sacrifice. Every calorie I consumed was a calorie she subtracted from herself. She literally dismantled her own body to build mine. My bones are made of her hunger, my muscles are built from her starvation, my energy came from her exhaustion. I am a cannibal, I ate my mother's life. And she let me, she served it to me on a platter with a smile. I am sharing this story because I see how we treat our mothers. I see kids rolling their eyes when their mom says she isn't hungry. I see teenagers complaining that there is nothing to eat in a house full of ingredients. I see sons and daughters taking the last piece of cake without asking. We think our mothers are invincible, we think they don't have needs, we think they exist just to serve us. But they are human, they get hungry, they get tired, they get scared. And yet they put us first every single time. If your mother ever gave you the big piece of chicken, if she ever told you she wasn't hungry, if she ever claimed she didn't like the dessert she bought for you, realize what that is. It isn't a preference, it is an act of supreme love. It is her saying, I will diminish so you can grow, I will wither so you can bloom. I can never pay her back, I can never cook her a meal, I can never take her to a fancy restaurant and watch her eat until she is truly full. But I can warn you, look at your mother's plate. Is it full or is she just watching you eat? Don't let her do it. Put the food on her plate, make her eat, tell her she deserves it. Tell her you know. Tell her, Mom, I know you are hungry, and I am not eating until you do. I wish I had said that just once. I wish I had grabbed that burnt toast from her hand and said, Mom, stop, let's share the eggs. But I didn't. Now I volunteer at a food bank, I feed people, it is my penance. Every time I hand a plate of warm food to a hungry woman, I see my mother's face. I see the woman who starved in secret so I could walk in the sun. Please share this story, share it for the mothers who hide their hunger, share it for the sons who need to wake up. And in the comments, tell me, what is your favorite meal your mom makes? Go home and ask her to make it, and then sit down and eat it with her, really eat with her. It is the greatest gift you can give her. Thank you for listening, and Mom, I hope you are feasting in heaven. I hope the table is full, you earned it.